there's something where you've just thrown caution to the wind and go, it will sort out how it sorts out. We'll see what happens. Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Sunchild Tarot, or welcome back if you're a returning subscriber, and if it's your first time here, hello, nice to meet you. Now, this is a general reading for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North Node, whichever area of your chart you're wanting to look at, and there is a link in the description down below if you don't have a copy of your own birth chart. You just need your date, time and place of birth. So, being a general reading rules apply. Timing is not absolute. Roles can be reversed if somebody else turns up in this reading. My readings tend to be quite personal, but ever so often there is the influence of other people, and the cards don't come with name tags, so I may think I'm talking about them and I'm actually talking about you, and vice versa. Now, what I would like you to do is ask a question prior to this reading. So pause the video if you have to. Take a moment, think about all the questions that are around you at the moment and focus upon one of them. But be aware of all of the questions that came up on that list, because the cards will answer what they want and not what you or I think is the most pressing issue. Now, if I don't get to answer your question, then the universe will find a way to use that energy that you've sent out. So don't worry about that. You will get your answers somehow. Now, this reading either is for you or it isn't, because there is a past and a present in this spread, and if the past and the present do not fit, go and watch your rising sign, go and watch your moon sign. In fact, you should always watch your rising sign anyway, because in ancient astrology, your rising sign was the most important. So, housekeeping. There's a link to a Facebook page for this channel in the description down below. It's got its own inbox, so you can contact me there directly if you want if you're wanting a personal reading. And there's also a link to the playlist for the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction readings that I did at the end of June. Now, bear in mind, that peaked. It's coming back again. I did a series of readings when it peaked in January, February, whenever it was, and it went to 0 degrees orb with Jupiter being retrograde on the 29th or 30th, depending on where in the world you are. And then it's going to happen again in November, but it never really goes out of orb, so it's with us for the time being. So you know, the readings are quite relevant still. So I will be doing my Chinese zodiac readings after I've done the full moons, because the full moon is so early this year and it's a lunar eclipse, and I forgot. I didn't forget, but I didn't get to. Lunar eclipse. I didn't get to do the solar eclipse readings, basically because the eclipse went and just knocked me like that. It's right what they say. You start studying astrology, you become quite sensitive to the energies. Because that sure happened to me. And it was a most productive time, just not for the YouTube channel it wasn't. So I think that's everything. I think that's all the housekeeping. Yep, can't think of anything else. I will bring up the cards. So, what I'm seeing with these cards, it's almost like you've thrown caution to the wind. There is, there's a point where you've gone, right, I'm in my own environment here. We've got the Empress, the Watcher, Queen of Mirrors, which is Queen of Cups, sort of, and the Wheel of Fortune. So I think there's an element of stuff it. We'll see what happens. You know, here's my, I want to say empire like the Emperor, but here's where my power base is. Here is where I am the most abundant. We have the abundance card. But there's something where you've just thrown caution to the wind and go, it will sort out how it sorts out. We'll see what happens. But I think that you are feeling particularly lucky at the moment as well. However, you seem to be acting with a certain amount of strategy and a certain amount of keeping your cards close to your chest, because underlying the current situation, as much as you're trying to be strategic, there is the question, what am I transforming into? So this is obviously, I would say this is a contentious situation that must be going on here, for you to be asking yourselves these questions. But we've got the Nine of Swords, where this, well, what he's seeing is not true. He's seeing himself in the mirror turn into some form of Lovecraftian zombie creature. But you are being told to stick true to your morals, to your divine urges, divine guidance, all that sort of thing. And to stay close to your friends, because it is a time of celebration at the moment, even though, right, your strategy is to try and put the end to some torment, and you've been shown a way, and I think that you've tried it, and that's where the attitude of is, well, I've done it, it'll sort out how it's going to sort out. See what's led up to this, because I feel like there was, right, there was something that you were trying to create, and you found the process to be a little bit slower than what you would like, even though it's almost like you was waiting for your ships to come back from what you had tried to create, and it just wasn't happening in the way that you expected it to be, but mainly because you were in unknown territory, and you were in unknown territory for quite some time, and the world kept changing quite fast around you, leading up to a very big change where you was given an option to try something different, try something, almost like you was given an option to try and bring the past back to life. And I don't think that that would have been a good move. And I don't think that's what you did, because we've got the Strength card here. Nine of Mirrors, Queen of Swords. I think you went to say, no, I'm not bringing the past back. No, thank you very much, indeedy. The Nine of Mirrors, it's an interesting card, because when I see this Nine of Mirrors card, to me it's half the Nine of Cups and half the Nine of Swords. Because that rain could be a good thing or a bad thing. You know, it could be feeding the flowers and helping them grow. Well, quenching, I think, would be the correct word, wouldn't it? Or it could flatten them poor fairies if it hadn't landed on their head, and it wouldn't be a pleasant experience. But I also feel like there's the water represents the emotion, but it's almost like they're dodging in between the emotions to try and maintain their harvest. And I think there has to be an element of, you can't dodge between your emotions anymore. From the Moonology Oracle deck, we've got, it's time to release negativity and conclusions are within reach. So this, what you've tried to bring a situation to a head, to bring it to an end, it's working. That's one thing that I will say. It's working because you have been listening to your guidance. We have the Angel of Knowing here. My sense of inner knowing leads me to the light. And there is a new beginning coming up for you here, Ace of Pentacles. But I have to say that if you are demanding honesty from somebody else, you have to be honest with yourself at the same time. Now, I'm getting that slightly from that Seven of Swords, the secrets and lies aspect, but also from this Gangagramma from the Daemon Tarot, or the Carte Infernale, who is loosely based on Hindu legend. Now, I'll read out the history of this being, because the message of this card is basically, beware of excessive pride. Get my teeth in. Beware of excessive pride, bragging, or not judging a situation or knowing all of the facts before getting involved. So, as I say, I do feel that there is a certain amount of illusion that you are being exposed to, partly from external sources, partly from yourself. And you can't control the external sources bit, but you can control where you are giving yourself misunderstandings and misapprehensions. Right. So the inspiration of the card. Colin Duplantis' entry on Gangagramma. Well, actually, I'll start at the top. Gangagramma is another Hindu reference that Colin Duplantis used with his own prejudices and fears as a demon in his dictionary. Colin Duplantis' descriptions of Gangagramma are so different from any known legend that it is unclear whether his source was Ganga, the personification of the sacred river Ganges, or perhaps Gangama, a regional incarnation of Shakti, the personification of divine feminine creative power. So his entry on Gangagramma, whoever she may be, includes a terrible ritual allegedly used to honour the daemon god. Although Colin Duplantis specifies that his Gangagramma is a feminine entity, he uses the masculine pronouns he and him throughout the description of the ritual. According to Dictionary, women of a village were lured into participating in rituals to honour the daemon, being told that no harm would come to them. However, once they agreed, they were suspended in the air by hooks pierced through the skin of their backs, and their cries were drowned out by the roar of a crowd. Although similar rituals did and do exist in many cultures, Duplantis seems to have been created as a cautionary tale against giving consent for infernal rituals without full knowledge of the proceedings. However, and this is the author speaking, I would be remiss if I did not point out that ill-using an unsuspecting female to prove a point of worship is not too far from what Colin Duplantis has done by inventing or twisting the tale of a sacred Hindu aspect to further his own beliefs. There's so much to unpick there. Like I said, there's illusion from external, but there's illusion from internal as well. Let me have a look at the more distant past here. You've been in one of these slow progress situations before where it was the value of things was really important. It's almost like you were assigned to give something value or assign value, but even the act of assigning value was highly political and something that you were required to maintain balance with, and basically you ended up getting hurt and wandering the hell on out of there to get into a whole new situation. You made a commitment to say never again. If you said never again, why is it that it's happening again? And if you don't think it's happening again, but you've managed to take all the other stuff that I've been talking about, then you're wrong. It's happening again. And maybe answering that question. Yeah, you know, I want to be a friendly, all-inclusive reader here. But answering that question will enable you to isolate the illusions that you have helped cast upon yourself. Because I don't feel that like there's any willful misunderstanding or willful misapprehensions or illusions. You know, it's not like you are doing it on purpose, but it is like there is a bit of you going, la la la, not listening, it's not the same, it's not the same, it's not the same. When it sort of is, to be honest, it sort of is. Now somebody else, hey up, Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Wands, Six of Stones. There is somebody else trying to nurture you in this situation, and you are getting good growth from them. But I have to say, I mean, maybe it's the fact that I was inspired to use the Dark Grimoire Tarot this month, which it's not my favourite of tarots because it's a bit sort of So when I was like feeling the decks beforehand to see which one wanted to, when this one popped out, my reaction was a bit of, really? oh God, it's going to be a cheerful month. But look at this Queen of Pentacles. She's a nurturer, yeah. But she's scheming. She's planning something. She is using her power. And I don't trust her. So yeah, you may be getting rewards from somebody who has been nurturing you, but have you looked at the cost? And I think it could well be that combined with an unwillingness to face certain emotions that's creating that la 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 not listening reaction. But there is a new beginning coming up for you, because death here, so we've had a recent change, death here as well. There is a big change that's sending you forward into the world with, from the Page to the King of Wands, so really increasing with your power. So hopefully this examining of your illusions will alert you to any agendas that are going on around you. Because yes, King of Wands with the Knight of Wands surging ahead, and the Muse, the Queen of Spirals. Now for me, I think spirals are swords, but spirals are evolution. Spirals are the Fibonacci sequence that is seen in nature. Spirals are the most natural shape of life, of growth. And so there's none of that harsh aspect to the Queen of Swords with this being. She doesn't cut things away, she lifts herself out of them. Because if you take this opportunity, you've got to make a stand for yourself, but news will come to you that will bring you into some form of conflict that will make you go, yeah, no more, no more, no more. So I think I may well be calling this reading You Said Never Again. That's assuming I remember it. But Ace of Mirrors here, look. New love, new beginning, new options going forward, where you are looking after your own world and you are balancing those around you with your own needs and your own inner wisdom. That's really good, especially finishing here with the King of Cups, considering we just had the Queen of Cups somewhere here. Was it there? Where was it? Well, somewhere around here. Coming to a point where you can go, I'm glad that's over. I'm okay with everything that's happened, but I'm glad it didn't carry on. I have my own message, my own light to send out into the world, and I can do that on my own, thank you very much. Because I think that if you are not listening to your intuition, and this is a fear of yours, then the world will shape itself into something that you don't recognize, and you will be at mercy of random events that at the moment random events are supporting you. It's time to release negativity, and conclusions are within reach. And then finally, from the Oracle of Heaven and Hell, we have Mahasya with rectification, setting something right. So just be careful of the influences that are around you, and be very, very careful about diving into something where you don't already know all the ins and outs. If there are known unknowns, you can't do a lot about unknown unknowns, but if there are known unknowns, then keep your mouth shut. Don't intervene until you have identified what these unknowns are and made them into knowns. So, well, that was heavy. I'm sorry, Aquarius. You did have a nice reading like 2 months ago, or maybe it was last month. But Yeah, that seems to be quite a situation going on there. I do want to say you are not a guilty party, but you could be if there's all you are guilty of is ignoring a few things. Maybe lying to yourself a tiny little bit. But it would be far better just to take a step backwards and go, no, a lot of it, I'm not needed on either side. Okay, so if this means out, and if you want to, and I totally understand if you don't, comment down below. And your next readings will be the full moon readings, and then after that, because I don't think I'll get them done beforehand, will be the Chinese zodiac readings, and then who knows what sort of, I really need to do some starseed guidance as well, but hey ho, we'll see how time allows. All right, see you later, Aquarius. Best of luck. Be nice to yourself, but maybe a little harsh with yourself at the same time. Cheers.